Hi everyone, Dave here back with another video. Today we're talking wrestling, or more specifically, SummerSlam 2023, which aired last night. That was my computer, sorry. It definitely happened, I will say that. It was an event, it was a pay-per-view, so that's fun. I think we can all agree that it definitely aired, and I guess we'll talk about what specifically happened. So this is in no particular order, but we're going to start with the first match, which was Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Slight mini Jake Paul rant. He also beat Nate Diaz last night in boxing. Cool, but neither of them are boxers. This whole Jake Paul being a boxer thing, he's not. He call me when he fights and boxes an actual boxer. Oh, I'm sorry. He has boxed an actual boxer and he lost. So when Jake Paul boxes and beats an actual boxer, then maybe he can call himself a boxer. But he keeps, fighting retired MMA and other YouTubers and basketball players and people who aren't boxers. Obviously he's gonna win those because he's training as a boxer, and they're not boxers, and neither is Jake Paul because he hasn't actually boxed an actual boxer. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about his dumb, stupid brother. This match was fine. I will say, I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it in a video, but just in case if I haven't, I'll repeat it. If Logan Paul wasn't such a garbage human being in real life, I would probably like him because he plays a heel pretty well. It is a little basic, like I saw him in Buffalo a few weeks ago, and he did the typical, I had to come out to Buffalo, making fun of Buffalo or whatever, which is pretty basic, pretty typical, but I feel like he does it well. I mean, at the end of the day, how I view a heel is like, you gotta walk out there and make everybody hate you. And he does, but he doesn't do it because he's a good heel. He does it because everybody already hates him. But I feel like if he wasn't so hated, he would still be decent enough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I feel like he could be decent if he wasn't already such a bad human being. So it's hard for me to actually like him and root for him. Because, heels are the bad guys, but there still are heels that you can like and root for. But I just can't root for Logan Paul. So, anyway, this match was fine. A lot of high flying, him and Ricochet are both, Ricochet's incredible. He's been doing this a long time, and he knows what he's doing. Logan Paul, a few moves of his looked like they could have seriously injured himself or Ricochet. Like, he doesn't look like he fully knows what he's doing, but he still is good. Like, I gotta give credit where credit's due. He's a good wrestler. He just is a garbage person. But the match was fine. Logan won by shenanigans. Somebody slipped brass knuckles on him and he hit Ricochet or whatever, and the ref didn't see it. I've never been a fan of that stuff. But whatever. I guess that's kind of how you really solidify yourself as a heel. People see you cheat. Quote unquote cheat. It was whatever. It was fine. Next. No particular order. Let's just talk about the SummerSlam Battle Royale. Why the hell do they keep pushing Omos? He's a tall guy. That's it. He's tall. That's his whole thing. He's not good in the ring. He's not good on the mic. He's just tall. This Battle Royale kind of got thrown together. I don't know if it was because of Becky's match being pulled, but it kind of felt just super random. And thrown together, but it was fine. I mean, a lot of people in it who I like. I mean, I love Shinsuke, Sheamus, LA Knight, again, a heel that you can like and root for because he does it well. He's basic, but in a good way. Like, it's there's no gimmick with him. He's just a typical heel that, comes out, does his heel stuff, and then, and he's not like, there's nothing super crazy about him. He's not like some supernatural being, or he's not like an outright, dick. He's just pompous. So, again, he's a guy who's a heel that you can root for. But he won, which was fine. He beat Sheamus. I would have liked to see Sheamus win because I feel like that would help put him back in the title picture, winning at SummerSlam and winning this Battle Royale. But he at least got to the last two. I think they've been doing Sheamus a little dirty these past few years because he, should be a lot bigger than he is, at least in my opinion. But LA Knight kind of seems like a guy who's like, quote unquote, up next. They're, I feel like they're trying to push him a little bit more. So that's fine. I wasn't like disappointed. I was just like, would have liked to see Sheamus win. But it was fun. Like, it was definitely fun. Battle Royales are always fun because it's just a bunch of dudes just going at it. Pause. Not really, because, slamming with the boys. Summer slamming with the boys is always fun. Boys go Raw. I don't really have a SmackDown pun. Boys go Raw, add SmackDown. Boys SmackDown. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, what was I talking about? So it's fun. The only thing is just stop shoving Omos in our faces. He's not good. I don't know. I mean, maybe people like him. And I do gotta say, watching him pick dudes up and just throw them around like ragdolls is fun. He's a funny wrestler. It's funny to watch him, but it's not like it. How do I explain this? Watching him is funny, but it's not fun. If that makes sense. I know I just said it was fun, but I'm a hypocrite. I don't know. The way I describe it is watching him is funny, but it's not fun. Like, yes, objectively, watching this big guy pick up two wrestlers at once and throw them simultaneously out of the ring is funny. But would I rather watch literally anyone else? Yes. So it's not fun for me to watch. But if he's on there, whatever. But he's still not good. But anyway, I've been on that too long. Let's move on. The MMA rules match, Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Okay. I gotta give credit to these women. They were playing it. Playing it up. MMA rules match in WWE makes literally no sense because the whole point of an MMA rules match is MMA is actually fighting one another, and they still were not doing that. And I feel kind of bad for these women because they were really giving it their all, but it really just didn't seem like anyone cared. Like, honestly, maybe it was just the camera angles that they were showing, but every time they would pan to the crowd, it looked like no one gave two shits. I'm trying not to cuss. But yeah, it looked like no one really cared. But I thought it was fine. Their rivalry is, I guess, interesting enough. Yeah, it was kind of a whatever match, but, they definitely did a good job. It just, I don't think anyone really cares. Next, we got Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes won. He beat his Brock Lesnar by beating Brock Lesnar. I didn't know Cody Rhodes was fighting my dad, with his whole, everyone has a Brock Lesnar. So, anyway, what was I saying? So, he won, which is good. I love Cody. Some people, I think, may be getting a little bored of him because they keep kind of doing the same thing with him, like the whole finish the story and the whole, whatever. But I like him. I still think he's great. And that match was something. I mean, it looked like a beatdown. And usually when that happens, when one guy is getting beat down the whole match, you kind of can tell that he's going to come back and turn the tables, which is exactly what happened. But it was cool. I mean, Brock ripped his pants. We almost saw Cock Lesnar, so that was fun. We almost had two purple heads that match, because Brock gets all purple. Forget it, whatever. But it was good. I honestly enjoyed it. Like, I was watching it being like, what is he going to do? What is Cody going to do? How is he going to win this? And I didn't really realize it at the end, but Brock kind of broke kayfabe. Again, I'm new to wrestling. I'm very new to wrestling. So I didn't really catch it at first. Like, Brock shook his hand, whatever, which I just thought, oh, that's a cute way to end that. I honestly thought that was just the writing, because this whole Brock Lesnar Cody Rhodes feud was kind of dumb to begin with. So I thought it was them basically just saying, okay, this is the cap on it. Brock and Cody shook hands. They're done. The feud's over. But upon reading comments from people that have been watching wrestling a lot longer than myself, they say, like, Brock's never done that. Like, he never, at least to what I've been reading, I read that, like, people were saying that he never does that. Like, the Brock from 5-10 years ago would have never done that, would have never just shook somebody's hand. So it shows that he's got respect for Cody, and it also shows that they didn't plan that. And rewatching the footage, I was like, oh, Cody looked surprised. Like, he was, like, confused a little bit when Brock stuck his hand out. Like, so it just shows that Brock Lesnar has an immense amount of respect for Cody Rhodes. And I love Cody as well. And I've never been against Brock Lesnar. I don't dislike Brock Lesnar by any means. But seeing that made me be like, oh, man, I kind of like Brock Lesnar a little bit more, too. Like, he's willing to give credit where credit's due. So he shook his hand, and then he, hoisted Cody's arm, around, and, everybody, well, I don't know about everybody, but myself, Brock Lesnar, the people in the crowd, it shows that they have an immense amount of respect for not only Cody Rhodes, but for Brock Lesnar as well. And that was just a really good match. Like, it was definitely one-sided and then another-sided, sometimes you like to see a match go a little bit more back and forth, but it was pretty much Brock dominating and then Cody returning fire. But it was still good. I enjoyed it a lot. And I hope that they continue to push Cody into that main picture. Like, if anyone's going to defeat Roman, I mean, we'll get to that, but if anyone's going to defeat Roman at this point, you got to think it's going to be Cody, right? They're going to just make this, a year-long, like, revenge story and revenge tour for Cody, have him take it at WrestleMania in Philly this upcoming April. I genuinely don't know if that's what's going to happen, but you kind of got to wonder if that's what they're setting up for. But anyway, it was a good match. I enjoy Cody a lot. I like Brock more than I did before. And breaking, kayfabe and breaking character at the end there definitely was surprising for not only the crowd, but again, I think it was surprising for Cody as well. So it just shows a lot of immense amount of respect there between those two competitors. So that was cool to see. Next, we've got the Intercontinental Match, Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Honestly, I forgot this match even happened. Gunther is another guy who I just don't like. He's just a big guy. That's his whole thing. Drew McIntyre deserves that belt. I like Drew McIntyre. But the match itself, I can't even remember it. I can't even remember. I know Gunther won still. At least I think he did. But it was whatever. Honestly, it was whatever. Moving on. Next, we'll talk about the women's match. Asuka versus Bianca versus Charlotte Flair. This match was good. I enjoyed it. Some shenanigans at the end. I will give the WWE credit. They played off Bianca's injury, like, pretty well. Like, for a second, I thought, oh, damn, she really got hurt. Like, the way that they were playing that off, that, Bianca's, I guess, acting and everyone coming out. Like, they had, like, 4 or 5 people come out to her, which I had never seen, or at least don't remember seeing, at least in my recent memory. So I'm sitting there being like, oh, God, she's actually hurt. But then when I saw her walking on it, like, they were taking her back to the locker room, and of course she was limping, but she was still walking on it a little bit. I knew, like, oh, okay, this is fake. Because they would, if she genuinely hurt her knee, they would never let her put any weight on it. They would bring out a stretcher, or they would carry her back or whatever. There was no way that they would let her, even if she's limping or, whatever, they would never let her actually put any weight on it if it was actually a real injury. So, and then she, like, got halfway up, and then she, like, fought her way back in the ring, like, oh, no, I want to keep fighting, I want whatever. Like, I kind of felt like that was a bit lame, to be honest. Like, it seemed very much like a kid's sports movie, like, come on, guys, like, coach says we can get back in that ring. Like, I don't know. It was a little goofy, a little shenanigans, in my opinion, but it was, it was whatever. It's not something, that I'm, like, too, annoyed about, but it was whatever. But yeah, she gets back in. Charlotte hits her with I think it's called like the figure eight, that like submission move. Then Asuka hits Charlotte with the mist, and then Asuka then tries to get Bianca, and then Bianca reverses it, pins Asuka, wins the belt. Which, again, I don't hate that Bianca won it. I think all three of these women are insanely talented, and all three of them deserve it. But it wasn't a decision that I was annoyed with. I was just kind of like, I'm not the biggest fan of shenanigans, but it is what it is. But then it got really shenanigan-y, if that's even a word. A lot of shenanigans happened when Io Sky came in, cashed in, immediately beat Bianca Belair, and now she holds the women's belt. That I did not see coming. That was out of left field. I honestly kind of forgot about the whole Money in the Bank cashing in thing, and we'll touch on that a little bit more in the next match. But that was pretty crazy. Like, those are the good types of shenanigans. Those are the shenanigans that I enjoy, where it's like, whoa, what just happened? In a good way. And again, we'll touch on that a little bit later as well. Excuse me. So that I mean, I like Io Sky. I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's awesome. I think she deserves it. I don't know how long they're going to actually let her hold it. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to give it to Bianca Belair. Or I don't know if this is conspiracy theory talking, but I wonder if Bianca maybe actually was injured and they just had her finish the fight and then told Io to cash in so that she holds the belt, so that Bianca, gave it up. But, she would have had to give it up anyway if she was truly injured. So I guess we'll have to see. I mean, that's something that literally just popped in my head right now. Like, I wonder if she actually really was injured and, decided to play out the rest of the match. And I don't think that that's what actually happened. I think, I think Io cashing it in was planned, but it is kind of interesting to think about, like, oh, maybe that was like an on the fly type change. But I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that was fun. All three, or now four of those women, are amazing. I love all of them. I think they all deserve the belt. And we'll just see how that continues to go, I guess, going forward. Next, we have Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. First off, Damian Priest, if you're going to cash in, just cash in. Either do it or don't. But this is like the 8th time I've seen Damian Priest walk out, with his case, like he's fucking big dick in a... I'm cursing, I don't care. Like he's big dick in a locker room, and not do anything with it. And in fact, not even not do anything, but like screw over your Judgment Day homies. Like, because then they get distracted. Like the same thing happened at whatever the previous, I guess the previous event was Money in the Bank, was it? Or maybe there was one before, I don't remember. But like it happened before, where like he came out and then Finn got distracted, and then, whoever beat him. I think it was Seth also. But I don't remember. Maybe I'm confusing myself. But it was the same thing that happened here, regardless of if it happened, with the exact same before or not. It happened again. And it's lame. Like, just cash in or don't. But just stop. I'm also not really a Damian Priest fan because, again, I feel like he's just a big guy. Like, guys who are just a big dude, I don't really like, with the exception of like Brock Lesnar. But again, it's Brock Lesnar, so I feel like that's a good exception. So yeah, I mean the match itself was good. I think Finn Balor, like both Finn and Seth, are amazing wrestlers. They put on a great show. They're great performers. I do like them putting Finn Balor in matches with belt implications, because he deserves it. Like, he deserves to be in that belt picture. But I don't like him constantly getting screwed over by his people who are supposed to be his teammates. And I honestly feel like the Judgment Day is like kind of dragging him down a little bit, because like everything that he does is always tied to this Judgment Day whatever, when in reality he can be like a top guy if they just let him do his own thing and let him be in that belt picture. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Whatever. But the match itself was fine. Seth retained the belt, and he also won Celebrity Family Feud not too long ago. So this guy's rolling high. So good for him. What was I saying? Yeah, the match was fun. It was good. It ended with like Seth stomping Finn onto the case and then kicking the case away, which was really neat, a good touch. But yeah, it was good. And now let's get to the tribal combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Now look, no one thought that Jey Uso was actually going to win, right? The WWE makes too much money off of Roman Reigns. He makes them too much money. And two, if you're gonna have him lose the belt, they're gonna have it be at a WrestleMania. Like they're not gonna have it be on not a throwaway. Not that SummerSlam is a throwaway thing, but they're gonna have it be at WrestleMania if he loses. So everyone knew that he was gonna win, but how he won was one of the most ridiculous, stupid thing. I don't know if the writer's strike is hitting the WWE, but what the hell was that mess? Like, first of all, okay, tribal combat, what the hell even is that? They didn't tell us. Eventually, it kind of was revealed, like, you're allowed to use, chairs, kendo sticks, tables, whatever. The match itself was pretty good. Like, I was watching it with my buddies, and we were all very into it. Like, whenever somebody brought out the chair or the kendo stick, or whenever somebody went through a table, like, we were like, oh, what? Oh, God, whoa, no way. Like, we were into it. And then they go out in the crowd, and we're like, oh, what's going to happen here? Like, Roman obviously is running away because he's scared, because he always gets scared. And then he has to get help from Solo, which, we all knew. And the thing is like, the announcers, it might have been Michael Cole or whoever the other guy was, he was like, man, if you didn't see Solo coming in, you must have not been watching. It's like, you say that like it's a good point. It's like, that's the point, though. Like, we all expected Solo Sikoa to show up. That's not good. Like, if an entire crowd of people, the entire WWE universe is expecting something, that's not good. Because that means that everything is so formulaic and stale. You're expecting Solo to show up because that's what always happens. Roman always gets help from his homie and always wins. However, it was a little bit different last night, because what actually happened is, yes, Solo showed up, he did his little, stupid Samoan spot, or at least tried to, or whatever. He did accidentally, Roman and Solo set up for the spike spear combo or whatever, and then Roman accidentally hit Solo with the spear, which was kind of funny. But what happened at the end of the day was Jay took Solo out of the picture. And so obviously we knew Roman's still going to win. But how? He won because Jay was pulled out of the ring by Jimmy. Why? What the hell is the point of that? Like, my buddies and I were speechless. We were like, what? Why? Who? I guess we weren't speeches because we were like saying what, why, who, whatever. But utter bewilderment. Like, it goes beyond shenanigans. There's shenanigans, tomfoolery, and then utter bewilderment. That's where we were at. Bamboozled. All of the terminology, all of the silly words you can think of. What the hell was that? Again, I don't know if they thought that was a good twist. That was an M. Night Shyamalan twist, where it's not a good twist, but it is a twist. It definitely is a twist. I'll give them that. It is you twisted it like you're wringing out a towel. You twisted it. It's not good, though. The good twist is, like I mentioned earlier, with Io Sky coming in. That's something that we didn't know was going to happen, or at least I didn't. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty interesting twist, because you think Bianca Belair's got it, and then all of a sudden Io has it. I get that's the whole point, but I'm just explaining whatever. A bad twist an awful twist is Jimmy turning on his own brother. For what purpose? The whole reason that Jay is even fighting Roman is because he's avenging his own honor, but also his brother's honor. He challenged Roman to this match here at WrestleMania because Roman put Jimmy in the hospital, quote unquote. Obviously, he didn't, but that's the story. So then why are you breaking... Like, the only thing I can think of is Jimmy either did it out of, like, jealousy, or he was like, I don't want to... I'm done being, like, somebody's errand boy. I don't want to be... You know, he's thinking, I don't want to, like, be beholden to anybody anymore. Because, yeah, I had to follow Roman around, do all his bidding, and get abused and mistreated by him. Now, if Jay becomes tribal chief, I'm going to have to do that all over again. And I don't want to have to, listen, I don't want to have to, be second fiddle to my own brother. I get that in theory, but it still doesn't make any sense. From a story perspective, that still makes no sense. Because why the hell would you do that? Like, the whole reason that Jay is even out of the bloodline, and even wrestling Roman in the first place is because he followed Jimmy. Because Jimmy got kicked out of the bloodline, and Jay said, the whole famous, well, I'm out too, thing. And then he challenged Roman because he put you in the hospital, Jimmy. What the hell are you doing? Like, I don't get it. And the comments are saying like, oh, well, wait till SmackDown. Wait till see what they say, what happens on SmackDown. They'll explain it. They might explain it, but it's still not going to be good. Like, the only thing I can think of is what I just explained of, like, Jimmy being jealous or Jimmy not wanting to be anybody's errand boy anymore. But that's still not good. That's just the only thing I can think of. That's still not a good excuse, in my opinion. That's just, again, the only thing I can think of to why he would do that. Why, like, there's no fathomable reason why he would go back to the bloodline. And again, the only reason I can think of why he would turn on his brother isn't even a good reason, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe they'll pull something out of their ass. Maybe Jimmy was brainwashed, or I would honestly prefer that. Like, some mystical guy or mystical thing happened where Jimmy is like the Winter Soldier in the Captain America. Like, he turned on Captain America because he got brainwashed or whatever. Like, do that. I would prefer that, honestly. But yeah, it was silly. Shenanigans, bamboozlement, tomfoolery, whatever words you want to use. It was stupid. Like, just so dumb. Utter confusion. And that was it. Then it just ended. So, I don't know. That left a sour taste in my mouth because that was so dumb and stupid. But overall, the whole SummerSlam, I enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, regardless of if it sucks or not, I still had a fun time sitting there with my buddies, eating pizza, drinking beer, watching wrestling. It was a good time. Overall, a few matches that I, were kind of forgettable, like the Ronda Rousey Shayna MMA match, the Intercontinental Championship was pretty forgettable. Some good matches, Cody and Brock, the WWE, the women's triple threat match, the Finn and Seth match. Even though I'm sick of Damian Priest, the actual match itself was really good, and I enjoyed that a lot. And again, as much as I hate how it ended, and I also hated how predictable it was, when it was just Roman and Jay wrestling, fighting one another, that was good. Take out this extra solo stuff, take out this horrible twist with Jimmy. The actual battle between Roman and Jay was good. I enjoyed that a lot. But overall, that's it. SummerSlam, I don't really give numbers to my reviews. I kind of just talk and discuss. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of SummerSlam down below. And I'll see you next time, I guess. I don't know. All right, bye.